Ladies and gentlemen, it is pro wrestling's giant personality, the height of independent wrestling, Mr. Larger Than Life, big time Ethan Higher, and you're watching the Final Count podcast.
This is Mega Mondo, and you're Mega listening and Mega watching the Final Count podcast. Yeah!
This is former WWE and TNA Impact superstar Mike Knox, a.k.a. Nux. You are listening to the Final Count. Keep it tuned. Hey everybody, Anthony Corelli here, formerly known as Santino Morella. You are listening to the Final Count.
This is former WWE superstar Victor, and you are listening to the Final Count.
Hi everybody, my name's Berto, and this is my service animal, Hippo, with our good friend Eric. Eric, and you're here listening and watching the Final Count podcast. Yay!
Hey, it's Eric Orris, voice of the Valley from OVW, and you're checking out the Final Count. Citizens, this is Super Z, and you're watching the Final Count.
Welcome to the Final Count. Here is your host, Rymode Mosley, and your co-host, the 502 Ace, Brian Dixon.
What's up? That is right. It is that time again. It is the Final Count time. And Neil, it's Rumble season, and I'm so excited about it. What about you?
Many Rumbles rumbling.
Yes, many Rumbles rumbling. I love it. We've been gone for a little bit, but we're back, and we're gonna get back to things. And we got some exciting spotlights coming up. I'm hoping everyone has enjoyed the recent spotlights that we did recently. But we also are not alone. It's not just you and me this week. This week we are also joined by this guy is not a stranger around here at the Final Count. He has been here on the Final Count. Maybe if you remember last year in 2024, the WrestleMania predictions episode, he was on with me for that episode. He is none other than the host of Over the Top Talk. He is Owen. Owen, how are you doing, brother?
Amazing. I mean, we got the Rumble tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to it. So, thank you for having me.
I'm heading up in person, so I will bear witness. It is, man, what an exciting time.
Definitely. Oh, I'm so excited. I wish I could be there with you, and wish I could go up there, but unfortunately, finances aren't there right now. But we'll get there. There'll be WrestleMania in Indianapolis, so you'll be our boots on the ground. That's what you'll be, our boots on the ground.
That's there, man. Boots on the ground.
Well, as everyone I'm sure that's watching or listening, they can guess that this is our Royal Rumble predictions episode. And so without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it. What's the first match that we got? Or first match we might think might be the first match?
Well, yeah. So I imagine they'll start with a Royal Rumble match. My guess would be the women's. If we're predicting, I can't imagine the men's going on second. I think that the men's Royal Rumble will be the final match. And that's always an interesting aspect of the Rumble is where does the title and the Rumble matches fit into the card order, because that can be very telling of, what might be happening or not.
Definitely.
But I'll just say going into this, and then I'll start talking and we can predict or talk about the women's Rumble. One thing that makes me so excited about this Rumble compared to other ones is that Royal Rumbles generally can tend to be predictable. You really know kind of who and either one's going to win. And this time it's it's just so stacked. I could see either one going 6 different ways and not having any clue on where these Rumble matches are going is very, very, very exciting.
Yeah, that's so true. Especially the women's Rumble. A lot of people have those predictions for the men's, but the women's this year really seems like so unpredictable, especially this year because of there's not too many names that have been,
not a lot of build up.
Say declared. What about you, Owen? What are you thinking?
Charlotte Flair has been rumored as a possible net in return.
That sure.
Jordan Grace has like doubled down on denying that she's going to be in the Rumble, but you can take that with a grain of salt.
Right.
I know a few people I was talking to the other night that actually predict that Jordan Grace is going to win, not just be in it, but win, which would be big. I mean, Jordan Grace and Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania seems like a pretty awesome marquee match. I don't know, because you have to start asking yourself, it's like, who are the two people who really are going to be at Mania, who are at the top that's going to be, and see if that pairing makes any sense. And I mean, Jordan Grace and Rhea sounds like pretty friggin' awesome.
Oh yeah, they both match up well. I think they would both match up well. I think Jordan's gonna win. I don't know. I don't. It'd be nice to see, her coming straight from TNA and winning the Rumble.
She's already entered a Royal Rumble too, is what's interesting. I mean, she hasn't won one, but she has been in one previous Royal Rumble.
Right, exactly. Owen, what do you think about the Women's Rumble this year?
Like you guys were saying, I do like how it's this year's Rumble just in general is really unpredictable. When it comes to the women's, I do think I think Charlotte Flair is going to win this Rumble, and it wouldn't surprise me because I've seen a lot of reports saying that there's a possibility that we get Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania. So I think Charlotte Flair is going to win it.
Definitely.
I mean, interesting, because either way, that would mean that it would be a return or kind of a newcomer coming to take the WrestleMania spot as to someone who's already, around on the roster and working and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. Does anyone think that AJ Lee's going to show up?
Oh, yeah, that was one that I had forgotten that people talked about. I hope not. Everyone just gives me I mean, I'm sure she's a great person. I did not like her back in the general manager days when it was like her and Daniel Bryan and CM Punk had like that freaking romantic triangle, and just AJ Lee in the ring was, she was a good worker. She could sell really well and she made stuff look, but I think as far as like offense goes, she was a one-trick pony. Just all of her matches during her reign as Divas champion were just kind of the same. And she never exhibited in-ring performance that made me really want her back. So the thing is will she come back? Maybe, but like, as a surprise entrant, I don't know. As someone who gets eliminated, it's like the question is AJ Lee someone who's going to come back just as like a spot, or is she someone who's trying to come back and be around for a little bit? Because whichever one of those obviously would greatly affect, what type of role she would play as a Royal Rumble entrant.
Exactly. And I don't see her coming back to be, if she is in the Rumble, I see it just as a one-off and not something where she's like going to stick around. I mean, I was one that liked her. Like you said, she didn't have really much in the ring to give, really. I mean, let's be honest.
Not to say that she doesn't or can't. I mean, there's just from those times.
Exactly. So Owen's given his prediction on who's going to win. I'm kind of, I don't know if I've really decided yet, but I guess we're doing predictions. I got to figure out.
Yeah, you got to choose a side, man. You got to pick one.
Oh my goodness. I think I'll go with Owen here and choose Charlotte Flair. Charlotte and Tiffany seems kind of intriguing.
I don't know. I think I would be kind of Charlotte Flair is she's gotten so much accomplished so fast that it's still almost, I know she's been away for a while and that's good. I don't know really what that leads for longer term, because like if Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair go at WrestleMania, is Tiffany going to win that?
Right.
Maybe.
Right. Does Jade come back and win it? I mean,
I think that Jordynne Grace and Rhea Ripley is a more appealing match. But granted, we do forget that, just one Rumble, the Rumble's only going to decide one of the women's championship matches. So, the other one could be probably Elimination Chamber. They'll figure that out. But it's interesting also because while this Rumble has been unpredictable, I think a big reason of that too is there's been very little to no build kind of for it in general. There's a lot of like men throwing in for the men's, Rumble. It's obviously John Cena's farewell tour. Women's has barely been mentioned, and you have the ladder match. It's like people are really excited, and I think everyone believes it's going to be a really cool and unpredictable show. But it's also kind of unique when you think about it, because kind of the build and story into it really has been not a lot. It's just kind of basic. But I think that's kind of working to its advantage right now.
I agree. And, like we've talked about already, I love the unpredictability about it. And that's what makes it good. I'm hoping for some really good surprises. I've heard that Nikki Bella is supposed to be in in Indy. So I don't know. I'd love to see just some and both Rumbles, don't just put NXT people in there. I mean, sure, that's going to happen, but give us some, bring back some people for just one-offs, and then they're gone, because fans are going to pop for that. If it's Trish Stratus, they're going to pop for that. Lita, they're going to pop for that. I mean, do something, and not just the NXT people. So.
Oh, I mean, yeah, and I feel sure there will be moments like that. I don't know. What do you think about Asuka? She's probably, if she's still injured or not quite ready to come back yet? I mean, it's got to be maybe around time for her.
I would think so. Yeah, I would.
I also read an article recently that Asuka's been dealing with a lot of I think personal issues, like when it comes to fandom and stuff like that too. Like she particularly said that she's reached out to police because she's had a lot of, you get these groupies of people, and it just stinks if you're a wrestler, because if you know the wrestling shows in town, you know what the major airport is. And right. I think wrestlers more than general will get people that know exactly where they are, and they'll just mob rush them and stuff like that. And it's not cool. Don't do that. But exactly. Asuka said on a fairly regular basis, she's gotten guys going up to her just asking to be in a relationship, right? And she's just fuck, it's
oh my goodness.
How could you even begin to respond to something like that? Especially with, anyways. I wish her the best of luck with all of that nonsense that she has to deal with. And I feel sorry for the wrestlers that do. Definitely. But hopefully, she comes back here pretty soon, or at least for WrestleMania season, because I've been missing me some Asuka, definitely.
Exactly. Yeah. Same here. I mean, who doesn't love some Asuka?
Well, Dakota Kai, I believe, is Io Sky out right now with injury? I think a lot of damage control is.
I want to say so. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is another reason why I'm thinking maybe Jordynne Grace or bringing someone else in, because they do have a decent hunk of their women's division up on the shelf. Definitely. Oh, sorry. Do you have something to say, Owen?
No, you can go.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, I was just saying another person that someone hasn't mentioned is the man, Becky Lynch.
Yes. That's another one that could possibly return. Owen, I mean, do you think we see Becky make the return, or?
Yeah, and I actually think she's gonna come out as number 2. I don't know why I have that number in my head, but I feel like she's gonna come out wicked early.
Wicked early. Well, if that happens, you will impress me, sir. I'll be like, holy crap.
Yeah, number 2. Remember that.
Right.
Owen was right.
And then someone else, who's got to be coming back soon, Alexa Bliss.
I'm not sure what it was. Gosh, I feel like I read something recently that she's still going to be out for a little bit, but I don't know. Alexa Bliss and like the whole Wyatt 6 thing seemed like it's been kind of fumbling a little bit, sadly.
Yeah. It was so hot, in the beginning, but like the switch to SmackDown was kind of weird. And they still haven't even, to my knowledge, been on SmackDown yet. It's crazy.
So I guess, all right, we got locks. I'm going to say, because I've said people think Owens predicted Charlotte. You predict Charlotte. My official pick. Oh, good Lord. I'm going to say Jordan Grace. Screw it.
All right. I like it.
Oh, bad one.
Yeah.
I like both. I mean,
after that, or maybe before something, we have a tag team title match, which I am sure is going to go down in history. I have such high expectations for this match. If this tag team match is anything less than spectacular, but how could it not be? It is 2 out of 3 falls. Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano team DIY against the Motor City Machine Guns, who have grown on me recently. Like, I thought they were kind of generic at first, but they've got the in-ring ability, and I really like how WWE has handled the heel turns for both Tommaso Ciampa and Gargano, as well as the New Day, where instead of like teasing a split up for both of those groups, both members just went heel. I feel like it was the right move in both cases.
I completely agree. I think we talked about before, when they did the split up, I loved how, it looked like they was going to do, or when they did the turn, it looked like they was going to do the split up between DIY. And then, Johnny Gargano, he made that decision, and then
which would have been overdone. I mean, how many times have Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano gone from best friends to worst enemies? I mean,
exactly. Now, I love the tease they did with the New Day as well, like you talked about. How they were going to split up, but they was just going to go their separate ways, and then
which I gotta believe that New Day, Kofi, and Xavier are both going to be in the Rumble. I don't see how they couldn't be. They just have so much heat on them right now. Or there's so much like funny spots they could do. I mean, this is just a Rumble with endless possibilities. But the tag match, 2 out of 3 falls. I gotta say, DIY, man, they are on fire. And I feel like as much as the Motor City Machine Guns are good, they're working out. I think that Ciampa and Gargano got to be tag champs going into WrestleMania.
I like it. I'm going to have to disagree, though, because I do love me some Motor City Machine Guns.
Ooh.
And I love seeing them as tag team champions. And I know they'll get them again if they don't win them tomorrow night. But, either way it goes, I think it's going to be a win-win for everybody as far as fans goes. And I agree with you. It's going to be one hell of a tag team match.
Especially whenever, for some reason, and it doesn't happen often, whenever tag team matches go 2 out of 3 falls, those are rarely ever anything short of spectacular. I remember it might have been 2014, 2015. My gosh, we're almost talking like a decade ago. But the Usos and the Wyatt family had a 2 out of 3 falls tag team match on, it was kind of a middle of the road pay-per-view. I remember it was a battleground. I can't remember exactly when, but that was match of the night, man. They had a freaking epic. And I know that, DIY and Machine Guns will do the same. They're going to tear the roof off that place.
Exactly. I don't
what about
expect
you, Owen?
anything less.
What do you think?
To be honest, I'm shocked that they're having it. Usually they don't put the tag team matches in general on the main pay-per-view, so I'm actually happy we get to see one.
I know, absolutely. I completely agree.
And if I were to have to choose, probably DIY, just because I feel like them having the titles going into Mania, like you said, is a smart thing to do. And then maybe at Mania do like a 4-way match, 6-way match, something like that, and then have them lose the belts. So I'm gonna go with DIY.
Or retain, but that's a different prediction episode
Yeah.
down the road, a couple months.
Yes.
But yeah, no, I think this WrestleMania, yeah, having like a freaking 4 corners tag match or something like that, or hell, do like a freaking tag team gauntlet match, something like that would incorporate a lot of teams and could take up like a solid, chunk of 30 minutes, on the WrestleMania. I mean, if you're splitting it into 2 nights, which they have been now for a while, you can give those tag titles a freaking awesome spot and showcase so many different performers.
I agree. And I think not only just the WWE, do it for both titles. I mean, you got we have all these tag titles now. We got the women's, we got the world, the WWE.
Who are the other tag champs in WWE right now? I'm sorry, I'm getting like my wrestling nerd card.
Yeah, me too. I was just trying to think of who the Raw. I have no clue.
War Raiders.
That's it. That's it. Thank you. All right, Rymode for the save.
But yeah, I mean, we need to see more of okay, don't do the stereotypical thing that people might think they would do. Okay, we're gonna put the Intercontinental men's title and women's title on one night, and then the U.S. title, men's and women's, on the other night. Don't do that. Switch it up. But
right.
Do something like that and give every title a chance to be on the show. So, but that's, like you said, another prediction episode.
Yeah. So before we get to the men's Rumble, the third out of only 4 matches that we know of announced for the Rumble is another one. Every match I'm really excited for, but Kevin Owens, Cody Rhodes, world title on the line, ladder match.
That's going to be
I think Cody drops it to Owens. That's a bold prediction. But I think, I don't know, I think it might be the right move. I think that a leveling of the playing field or throwing the audience base really off kilter. Also, the tease that like Kevin Owens had with Sami Zayn about on Raw a little bit ago. I know we're getting too deep into it, where he was like, "Hey, man, I know that you'll win the Rumble, and because I'll be there for you, and you're there for me, and stuff like that." Mm-hmm. And I think that's a really interesting thing that they introduced to it. I don't know ultimately what that's going to say, but again, that is also how important it is to the order of the match card, because whether the men's Royal Rumble or the ladder match happens first is really going to inform on, what happens at the next thing. But my prediction is that the match order is women's Rumble, tag match, ladder match, men's Rumble main event.
Makes so sense. That makes a lot of sense.
I think that Kevin Owens retains. I think Sami Zayn's going to come out. Maybe not. I think something's going to happen. I guess, yeah, obviously there is a chance that Rhodes retains. But I don't really know that his path from there to WrestleMania. I mean, but that's a lot of fun of just not really seeing where this is all going and just knowing that it can go anywhere. But what about you guys?
Owen, I'm going to let you go next.
Perfect. I'm just going to start this out with, I'm hearing voices in my head. I think Randy Orton is gonna play a part in this match, and whether it's Kevin Owens goes to grab the titles.
You're probably so right.
Hold on, say that again.
I do think we're gonna see Kevin Owens get like super close to the titles, and I think we're gonna see Randy come out and completely bosh that, and Cody's gonna retain.
Damn.
Yeah,
I might change my prediction to that. No, I'm going to stick with what I said originally, but that's a good call. I had completely forgotten about Orton in this angle and getting taken out with a pile driver and stuff like that. especially coming back into wrestling. But then does that mean that I guess WrestleMania is just Owens and Orton? Yeah, I mean, I guess that's that could be a reasonably good program for them.
Especially like coming after last year's WrestleMania, where they were like kind of like a tag team in a way. Weren't they like a tag team last year? Or maybe I'm just off our rocker right now.
Maybe.
But
I don't remember.
I thought they were like teaming up or something or chasing.
It was Team RKO, wasn't it? Freaking, weren't they Team RKO or is that just?
I
Well,
think
they
it
called
was
them RKO
RKO.
anyway, but like Randy and Kevin Owens, or am I just crazy now?
No,
I thought that was SummerSlam.
They were Team RKO, but I thought they was chasing A-Town Down Under at the time.
Dude, the years, especially post 2020, like pandemic and stuff, they bleed together for me.
They do. They so do. But for this match, 50-50 chance. I mean,
well, obviously.
Right.
Two people in the match, Mr.
Right.
Analyst.
So somebody's got to win. I don't know. I think I'm going to go with Cody. I like Kevin. And Cody has been stale kind of lately. Just because
Cody needs to get it freshened up, man. I don't know if it's a heel turn or what, but it's like it's just kind of it was hitting the danger zone of like him beating right. It's like where does he go from there and stuff? And now it's kind of really getting to that point. I mean, he's been champ for a long time. He's held on. I mean, he's definitely delivering in the ring.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as like story goes, he's gonna have to mix something up here. And especially before we get to the men's rumble, I think this is worth part of the conversation here because it's WrestleMania season. Mm-hmm. What about the dropping, or I guess the apparent dropping of the final boss gimmick with The Rock and that whole thing with the Netflix debut? It's like, but I have also heard that people are.
Come back.
Do you think The Rock's going to be in the Royal Rumble?
I hope not, but and maybe this could be where it goes.
Because like he wouldn't win if he's not in it, so why put him in? But just all the we're getting to the men's rumble, yeah. Because it's going to take a minute to dissect this.
If he's not going to win it, why put him in it if he's not going to win it? If he's
right, that's what I'm thinking. But whenever Peacock or like Netflix, they released a promo video for Royal Rumble. Yeah. And like they pause it and they cut a frame of it. And like in the middle of the screen, when there's the 1 second left, it's got The Rock's face in it. And now, of course, everyone's like, oh, they're teasing The Rock, or, he's going to come in the Rumble. And I don't know. Sometimes they're right about that. Sometimes it's just.
Could he use that, his power that he has as the final boss to make a 31st entrant?
But he's not really the final boss anymore. They had that Raw on Netflix, and he was like pointing out Cody, like chumming it up, and it's just like, what?
Right. But does he bring it back? Does he like, oh, that was just a.
I mean, I guess you can always do that, but that's,
I want that title or something. I mean,
that's when you start to lose fan grade. Like fans will really suspend their disbelief. Mm-hmm. But then if you start insulting it gets sore because we do extend so much disbelief, and stuff like that. So
exactly,
it's just something that as a promotion, like you don't really want to take advantage of or exploit. Mm-hmm. You got to be really careful about that shit. It's volatile.
True. That's so true.
I think we all remember Roman Reigns winning the 2015 Royal Rumble amidst boos. Like not even The Rock in the ring helped him.
Yep.
But no, the men's Royal Rumble, or the most unpredictable Royal Rumble maybe ever. Like, and you start off. What do you think about the men's Rumble?
I mean, yeah, like you said, very unpredictable. From what we've seen on Raw, they are highlighting CM Punk talk to Cody on Raw, and then on SmackDown tonight, CM Punk talked to Kevin Owens.
Shout out to OV Dub. You love Cody Rhodes. I mean, he said at 4400 Shepherdsville Road when he and Punk were trading in Davis Arena, and like Cody remembers where he comes from, and he always will still give that OVW. So kudos to that. Sorry, go on, bud.
If I think the last at least 3 members are gonna be CM Punk, John Cena, and maybe like a Drew McIntyre or something. I do think CM Punk is gonna win this Rumble though, because they've been spotlighting him a lot. So yeah, I'm gonna go with CM Punk.
Has CM Punk won a Royal Rumble?
No,
I don't think so.
No, he hasn't.
I like CM Punk, and yes, to your point, Owen, they have been highlighting him a lot.
So John Cena, who's obviously in this Rumble that we know, they're going, if I were to guess, or if I were doing booking or creative, I would say that Cena winning the Rumble is a little too easy, even though it would be nice to see it. And obviously with Cena coming back, hearing some of the pops he's getting, we're not really back in the Cena sucks era that we were anymore. Exactly. I think he's a lot over with fans right now, like he hasn't been in a long time, because, you know, they recognize just what he's done, and just, you know, the guy hasn't won a freaking singles match in like 5 years. But I think that that's still a little too easy. I think that Cena is not going to win the Rumble, but I think that Elimination Chamber or something down the line will happen, whether he makes it like to WrestleMania or not. I think the more interesting route is having Cena get eliminated from the Rumble and have to deal with that loss on the road to WrestleMania, still trying to find his footing, than just winning the Rumble. So
I agree.
But Punk, he's never won a Rumble. That's one thing going for him. Damn.
I completely agree. I'm going to go with Sami Zayn.
Sami Zayn. All right.
And I like Punk. I was going to go with Punk, but I think I'm going to switch it up and go with Sami. Just because that promo between him and Owens, that intrigued me. And then it was funny, within that same night, Jay started going after Gunther that night. You know, so I'm like, I want to see that happen for Jay, just like I want to see it happen for Sami.
But yeah, it's also like, who do they pick? Like, if Cena wins the Rumble, does he pick Gunther or does he pick Cody? And let's say about CM Punk. Mm-hmm. Who does CM Punk pick?
Cody.
Yeah.
Would you rather see CM Punk and Cody or CM Punk and Gunther? Because I think I would rather see CM Punk and Gunther. That's just me personally.
With the history, CM Punk and Cody.
You'd rather see CM Punk? Oh, they do have history and stuff. That's true. What about you, Owen? Which of those two matchups would you be more interested in?
Probably just based off of that promo on Monday, CM Punk and Cody, just because Cody said, you know, CM Punk, you're chasing me now. So I do think I would like to see a CM Punk versus Cody over Punk versus Gunther.
Yeah. You're selling me on it. You guys are selling me on it.
And then if you go Sami, if Sami wins, of course, Owens would have to win in the title match. And so if you do Sami,
yeah. So I mean, all that
Sami and I have to see them main event WrestleMania
just
together.
But I think at this point, Cody is going to have to win the ladder match. But where does Owens go from there?
It had to be Randy Orton, I would think.
That does seem likely. Yeah, Orton's got to be involved in that somehow, I would say.
Yeah.
And Four matches, though. Like, I wonder if there's going to be a dark match or anything out, because, like, even for a Rumble pay-per-view, it seems like there should be an Intercontinental title or just something kind of in there. And
6 o'clock start time, and, like, so early start time, like, What happened to the 4-hour pay-per-views?
Well, the 6 is the pre-show, I believe, and starts at 7.
Oh, okay, I got
you. But yeah, those 4 are what are lined up for it, and man, it's really gonna shake the foundation of WWE and whatever, and we're gonna have a lot more clear path going into that. But you have a Royal Rumble match with Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, CM Punk, John Cena are all in it. I mean,
it's
I
stacked.
don't think we're gonna see Brock Lesnar.
No. I hope not.
Yeah, that'd be wild. That'd be a little too crazy out there.
I definitely hope not.
One person we haven't talked about in the matchup, who I think we all agree is not going to win, but who I think is likely to show up, is Joe Hendry.
Yes. Joe Hendry, Moose.
A big, and maybe you know more about it, and this kind of gets on. We've had our predictions kind of for the Rumble, and I think we can kind of dissipate and talk about, because this is related to big wrestling news, that's coming out, that TNA and WWE are having a partnership for, I think they said roughly, what was it, like 5 years?
I think so, yeah.
And I'm not sure completely all what that entails. Obviously, it means like sharing some roster members, but I mean, could this be, I would hope, at least personally to me, it would seem like this would be a good opportunity to get some of the belts that they've created that don't have the attention they need, like the Women's United States or the Women's Intercontinental or the Women's Tag Team, or just some of the other cross-promotional belts and stuff, maybe on TNA, and like kind of go and defend and stuff. Or at least I hope that's what they do with it.
Yeah, I think that'd be pretty intriguing. Like, I think it'd be, like you said, another way to get those belts more time, more defending, the champions defend them more. And I hope it's not just an NXT thing. Right now it's just been an NXT and TNA thing.
Right.
I hope it's main roster. Let's put them on the main roster. And let's see, like, could you imagine? I think we are right now in a time where we could see a TNA versus WWE kind of PLE, pay-per-view, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, that seems like that would be nice. It almost seemed like that'd be booking yourself into a corner, though, because really, what do you do with that when you're WWE? Like, it's either you crush them or you put TNA over your own people.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe possibly it was an acquisition, but I don't think that just doing an all right out promotion versus promotion would be the wisest move.
I got you. It'd be intriguing, but yeah, I can see what you're saying there.
I mean, it's wrestling; anything can happen. But
yeah, exactly. What are your thoughts on the TNA WWE thing, Owen?
Kind of like you don't want to see. I think it's more of kind of an NXT thing, to put TNA wrestlers on the NXT roster, kind of test them out. I am hoping, though, that we do see some of like the superstars come to the main roster. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Is Jeff Hardy over in TNA?
Yes.
Yeah, I'd love to see Jeff Hardy maybe not like come back full time for the WWE, but I'd love to see him like back in a WWE ring. So I'm hoping they can bring some of the guys that are like legends in TNA and bring them into WWE. So
I feel sure like that would have to be a part of it. I mean, I've got to believe that the Hardys at least want to retire or have like, I don't think they'll have like one more like tag title run or anything like that or go, but you'd think that they want to like bow out in a WWE ring if they're going to have one last match. Maybe not, but that's what, I would assume. Because Hardy's going to be at WrestleCon up in Indianapolis tomorrow.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, them, the Dudleys, Kurt Angle, Rob Van Dam. I screwed up. I should have gotten up there. I'm just getting up there for the Rumble, but WrestleCon's there in the Marriott, and it's free. You just pay for like the meet and greets or whoever you get a picture with. So
Oh wow!
Maybe
Yeah, I'll
next
be going
year.
to the Super Show or Superstore and to WrestleCon too.
Right.
But yeah, I think I read a report kind of not recently, but it's been a while now that where they do want to retire in the WWE. The
Right.
Hardys
Yeah.
do. So, but
They need to get going, man. They ain't getting any younger.
exactly.
I don't know how many swanton bombs Jeff Hardy has left in him before he just snaps in two.
Right. Something I wanted to talk about was with AEW. Soraya has announced that her AEW contract would be expiring in September. So possibly could she make a return to WWE? And if she does, would they allow her to compete again? They're doctors.
What? Well, let me ask this: why wouldn't they? Are you talking about because of her like neck and stuff? You think they wouldn't medically clear her?
Yeah, because I thought that's why she left WWE and just went to AEW because
I think that's how it was, but I mean, isn't that like it was kind of the same with Edge for a little bit in WWE, let him come back, even though he went back into AEW. So, I mean, I don't see why not. I mean, if that's what Soraya wants, I hope that's what she gets.
Yeah.
I had the privilege of seeing her debut on Raw. It was the night after WrestleMania 30. I was down in New Orleans. I went to WrestleMania and we went to the Raw after that. And she defeated AJ Lee really quick with a page turn and got the belt and stuff.
Yes.
And Paige was awesome. And her neck injury, it was really unfortunate. That really cut some time off. I know she had a really rough time, unfortunately, because, the hack and the leak tape and stuff like that. I mean, I don't want to talk about it too much because you don't get it. But so if what she's looking back is, for another WWE run, I really hope that she gets it.
Yeah, same here. I meit'd really be nice to see her back. Owen, would you like to see Paige Soraya back in WWE?
Yeah, the only issue I would have is there is a lot of, I feel like, not wasted talent, but there's just a lot of woman superstars who are even on NXT that haven't really been able to get to the main roster. But
it's true.
I feel like with her coming, it's just, I don't know, I feel like it'd be a roster issue, but I guess that's what every female on the roster is dealing with right now.
Yeah, no joke.
Yeah. Good point. Anybody else have any other topics they want to bring up? I mean, I have a couple more if y'all want to talk about these ones, but
yeah, fire away, Rymode.
Yeah,
all right. We got JD McDonough this past week.
Oh, good one. Good
injury. Yeah, that neck, the back of his head hit like the announce table when he went out of the ring, and now he's expected to be out for several months due to that injury.
Now, I think it was a couple. I might be wrong, but last I read, I think it was a couple broken ribs and a punctured lung. Yeah. So he said, I think two maybe. Hopefully, that's all it is.
Yeah.
But speaking of JD McDonough and something just in general, Judgment Day. You think it's about time they just kind of dissipate?
Yeah, because I like the OG Judgment Day better.
Yeah.
And I think they've kind of run their course.
That's what I was thinking. I think Ben and JD could do, maybe something better themselves. But like the thing is too, is like splitting them up. They either have to go into the tag division or back into singles. And that's, it's a kind of sketch area to be in. But yeah, the Judgment Day just being, because it's still, it's the Judgment Day right now is what? It's JD, it's Ben, it's
Carlito,
Dominic, and
Liv and Raquel. And Raquel
Rodriguez. Oh yeah, I guess I forgot about that. Sure, why not throw her in there?
But like that's so bland. Rather than Finn, Damian,
Damian Priest.
Carlito and
I wonder what they have going for Damian Priest going into WrestleMania.
Yeah,
it seems like where he is, he would be like, I don't know, because they've got a lot of good mid card. I mean, that Sheamus. It seems like, I hope maybe WrestleMania does not like maybe a 6-man ladder match or whatever for the Intercontinental Championship. That's something they've done, several years. So maybe that might be something good to do to get a bunch of talent and stuff that are back on there.
Definitely. I don't know if I'd want to see him go against Braun Breaker for the Intercontinental title or not, but
right.
They give him something good. The next piece of thing I have is PCO destroys, even though it was a replica TNA Digital Media Championship, he destroyed it at a GCW show.
Oh,
and he said he did it to make a statement.
I heard about that. Man, I'm glad he wrote those 2 things down, because those are 2 good things that I hadn't thought about. I went to a GCW show at Headliners a few months ago. Billy Starks was there. Too Tough Tony was in a tag match, and the referee sucked so much on that ref. You had that entire Headliners bar saying, "Fuck you, ref. Fuck you." Sorry, I don't know if it's family or not. Maybe you can bleep me or something and edit, but I have never heard so many people chant "F you, ref." Like at one time. I mean, he got freaking roasted.
Oh my!
But yeah, he took a TNA belt to a different promotion and hit it with a sledgehammer to make a statement. And it's just like, that must be at a point when you're just burnt out and don't care anymore. Because it's just like, why would you do something so stupid and immature and attention grabbing just for a bunch of different reasons? It's like, what do you think you're going to accomplish doing that? Like, when it's on that scale, it's like everyone's going to say you're a moron and you're going to get fired, and everyone's going to be like, yeah, you deserved it.
Exactly. And it was all over. Apparently, it was over financial situation, but then also something about some type of an agreement they had made or something.
I don't know. I think maybe if they think, because it's so weird, because like with social media personas and stuff just working its way in, it's really kind of an evolution of what it's like to be like a wrestling personality. And I think that maybe in their heads, they'll just be like, oh, if I just do something drastic and it gets so much attention, then I'll just like get a pass for it. The logic really doesn't make sense, but people, aren't really logical beings, and wrestling isn't really a logical form of entertainment either. So
very true.
You get a lot of illogical people doing illogical things, and that was a good example of it. It's doing something like that anymore, if it's really off the cuff, it seems like a move of desperation for relevance than anything else.
I agree.
Yeah. I don't know. If I was TNA, I would have terminated his contract, and that's probably is that what happened?
I don't think he's with the company anymore. So, what do you think about that, Owen?
Honestly, just, I don't know. Whenever you're under contract, you're making money, you don't really, not like saying, obviously some wrestlers have like a regular job on the side, but when you're contracted with the company doing stuff like that, I feel like it's just really stupid.
Yeah.
And ruining an opportunity to make money, like, not like wrestling's easy, but easier way to make money. I just think it's very stupid.
Exactly.
Well, it also just hurts too whenever you have a position like that. You think how many people want to be freaking wrestlers in a wrestling ring or could just hold a TNA belt like that. And it's just like all the people that work so hard, they don't get there. And you're just going to like, piss it away. It's just like, it's just meh. It's not. So another thing I just thought, Rymode, and this is still kind of on topic, but where we're going, this goes back into OVW territory, but it's to the same point we were just making. Crystal White are you familiar about what happened like with her in her match against like Freya a few weeks ago at Davis? I don't know if you were there.
I don't think so. Yeah, I wasn't there, but I don't know if I recall it.
So she was terminated, is my understanding from OVW. She was one of the, Von Rocket's girls.
Yes.
So there was a match. It was Freya and Crystal and oh gosh.
Is that where her weave fell out?
Layla Feist, the one who's with Adonis, and then the one who has the hammer. I feel so bad. I'm sorry. I'm bad with names sometimes. She has
Layla Feist and
it was a fatal 4-way match.
Yeah.
And they were fighting, and like Crystal and Freya were outside the ring, and Crystal got hit with like this rolling senton, like on the apron and stuff. And she had a wig on. I didn't know that her hair was a wig. I don't think most people maybe knew that or not. And it popped off. And she got so angry, and we couldn't tell it was or what was happening. And Freya was on the apron, and we were in the ramp side area, where Chris and I normally are. And so we're looking down, and Crystal like just tears into Freya and then literally stomps on her head, like curb stomps her face into the mat for real, and storms off backstage. And we were just like, if you go back, I think this was like 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, I remember that now.
Like we were stunned because we were just like, I don't think that was, and it wasn't, because the rest of the match was really kind of fraught. You could tell there were spots that weren't supposed to be there. It all went kind of south when she stormed out, but apparently, like, she got her wig knocked off, and I guess she was pissed off at Freya about it for some reason, which made no sense. I don't know the context of everything happened, but she got really heated about that, and she flat out just stomped on Freya's face.
Oh,
and yeah, I was saying, if that was real, it's like she has to be fired. I mean,
exactly.
You're gonna kill someone, like,
right? Like, what? Yeah, I remember that happening. Now that you bring that up, because I was like, I remember watching it, and I was like, did her wig just fall off? And I didn't even know she, like you said, I didn't even know she had a wig. And what? I thought that was her real hair all this time, and it's a wig.
It wasn't even Freya that gave the move to her either that made her wig pop off, which was even a more odd thing. Like, I don't know if there's some beep in the room or what the context of that was. Probably we'll never know, but it's like, I get that like tempers are high and stuff like that, but I mean, you just fucking stepping on, or I'm sorry, I might get fined or something, but just stepping on somebody's head, it's not cool. Not cool.
Exactly. Like Carlito says, that's not cool.
Well, and again, I'll just have one more point, not just to the person also. Well, yes, to the person. Yes, to the person who Freya is, but also to the promotion and all the fans. It's like, what happens to OVW and their like freaking tour they have, going with freaking, Dano seasoning and stuff, or the money they have, if they don't have Freya anymore, who's one of their big players, especially from, the Netflix documentary.
Yeah.
So it's just, really, really poor decision.
I agree. Then we have Stephanie McMahon announced actually just yesterday that she's in a partnership with ESPN for a series titled Stephanie's Places, which apparently she's going to go around and talk to some of the wrestlers and see about kind of where they came from, like a where'd you come from type of thing. So that's kind of intriguing.
That is very intriguing, especially with everything just going on. Gosh, I'm not going to open this box, but just with McMahon legally and all his stuff and all the implications of that, we're going to have to do a whole special episode just for that down the road coming.
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure. But that's cool. Stephanie McMahon has been someone who has really been a workhorse for the company, especially like in outreach and stuff like that. And if that's where she wants to be, I hope that's where she ends up, because generally whenever she's there, it seems like she does a good job in whatever she's tasked to do, and seems like that she enjoys it. And everyone obviously have opinions about Vince and like the McMahon family and stuff like that, but opinions of Stephanie seem overwhelmingly positive. So I have, no reason to think that, she's not genuinely a good person trying to do, whatever she can for the promotion.
Exactly. Yeah, and like her humanitarian type of work, with Connor's cure and everything. And I love, I think Stephanie's someone that, as far as women can really look up to her. Young girls can really look up to her. I don't think she's anything really like her dad was, or is.
Last time Stephanie was in a ring, was it still? Or I know at least it was one-on-one. Was like against Nikki or Brie Bella at like SummerSlam.
Brie, I believe it was.
Yeah, and I remember Stephanie freaking having an awesome match, like no ring rust or anything, and thinking, man, maybe. And then I don't think she really wrestled after that. But yeah, Steph. If that's the last match Stephanie McMahon ever wrestles, she picked a pretty good one to go out on.
Right, exactly. Owen, what do you think about this kind of partnership with ESPN and Stephanie?
Is the interviews like with the WWE superstars?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Perfect. I do like you guys said. I do like how she does like a lot of the more promotional things, like you said, the Connor's Cure. She sets up like a lot of these like fundraisers, stuff like that. With this new ESPN thing, bringing more eyes to the WWE for people that might not, watch it. They might just go on ESPN and see that and then be like, oh, maybe I want to watch this based off of what they see. So yeah, I do
Exactly.
like it.
With the ESPN, because I know we're about at the hour and got to pay bills and stuff, but I've got one more thing off of your Ryan that I'd like to get both of your take on that I think is kind of interesting talking about, and those are the post-show press conferences.
Yes.
Because like I don't know if you've been watching them after the PLEs, and I've watched some of them and stuff like that, and I think it's interesting. The thoughts I've had about them recently is I understand their purpose, but I think one thing that I don't like about them, or I think is kind of a downside that I'm starting to notice, it seems like people who are asking questions, because basically you're having wrestlers come in and then you're having real like athletic and sports journalists asking them questions, which is good because it's a real athletic event and stuff like that. But it seems like the questions they want to ask are all like creative or storyline questions that they can't really answer. And so they kind of have to dance around and give like non-answers and stuff. And I think that cycle kind of happens a lot in these press conferences. And I don't know. I think just kind of what do you guys think about them? Do you think that they're effective? Yeah, just curious.
Yeah, I know. I tend to watch those too after the PLEs and everything. I like them. I think they're. I mean, there are some questions that I feel like they can be like they can, like you said, create. They sound kind of creative, like they're like somebody wrote them out for the people to ask. But I do know that because I even know some podcasts myself that have went and got like I don't know if you've heard of Muscleman Malcolm, Chris Van Vliet. He's one of those that always goes to those press conferences or after conferences.
Yeah, I think I've heard of them. Yeah,
and so like so there's podcasters there. There's people like different, like you said, athletic media outlets and things like that are at those press conferences as well. So it's kind of a little bit of everything. So I think that might be why the some of the questions kind of are like creative, sound like they were written by somebody. So.
Yeah, well, not just that they were creative, but like they'll ask, John Cena is like, whenever John Cena was talking about his farewell tour, it's like, well, who do you think you'll fight at like WrestleMania and stuff like that? Or they ask questions that are like creative questions that it's like they obviously can't answer. You know what I'm saying? Or like kind of dance around and stuff like that. So I just think the press conferences would be more suited to asking more like questions technically of the in-ring work maybe, or like, the sport, or like kind of the physicality of how they're feeling more so than, well, who do you think the next opponent might be for this or that? Because that's just a question that just gets asked so many times. And it's just like, yeah, they're never going to be able to answer that straight. Like,
right. No, I see what you're saying now because, like you said, because even like with the the ones I've seen where Paul Heyman was with the Bloodline before Roman went away and everything, he would talk about, well, what quarter or they'd ask, well, what's next for the Bloodline? Well, we're in the fifth inning or ninth inning or whatever. Just wait for the next inning. They're not going to tell you what's next. Because
exactly. It's like, oh well, let's see. I'm gonna go over at this pay per view, and then so it's just gonna be like you can't. Yeah. That's all I was saying. But cool.
Yeah. What do you think about that, Owen?
When it comes, I don't watch a lot of them. I mainly just see like the clips from them, like the interviews. But I'm not like a huge fan. I'm just not really based off of the questions they ask. Kind of just the way the wrestlers kind of are like more out of character most of the time when they're answering these questions. Like they're not really like I'm trying to think of an example. Like when the Rock was like the actual final boss, I remember seeing a press conference and it was like he just like switched into like corporate Rock or like just like a normal version of Rock. That's the only thing I don't like is they tend to come out of character for those interviews, which I understand, but kind of the whole point is not to get out of your character. But
true that.
All right.
Well, I do have one last kind of news piece right quick. We have the announcement of just this past Wednesday that the first WWE Hall of Famer or first inductee for this year is going to be none other than the game himself, Triple H.
Triple H.
Do you think it's too early, or not too early, but he's already in it, obviously with DX and everything. But would you have thought he'd be out of the company before he got inducted? I would have.
I don't think he's going to be with the company much longer. If I were to guess.
Yeah.
I think he'll see it through this Netflix thing for a while, but I think he's probably going to phase out. I think that's kind of why this is happening now. Might be wrong, but that's just my guess. So is he being inducted as Triple H?
Mm-hmm.
It's just Triple H is who is being inducted? Are they calling him Paul or Hunter or is it just like whenever they announce the press, is it Triple H being inducted?
So my knowledge is just Triple H.
Okay, yeah. I mean, guaranteed Hall of Famer. So, but that's the other thing. It's like why beat around the bush about it? And that's something too that I think is also maybe kind of good because if you get inducted whenever you're, and I'm saying younger, because I mean Triple H is obviously getting older, but he's not old. But if you get, inducted kind of at that age, that gives you the possibility of being inducted, a second time. But it's like you said, if DX has already been inducted, so this is technically his second induction.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah.
Owen, what do you think about that announcement?
I was honestly shocked when I saw it. I kind of already thought he was in, and then I was like, oh shoot, he's not in as just Triple H. But I understand he stopped like wrestling not like too long, like officially done not too long ago. So I do think it is his time. He was a huge part of like obviously the Attitude Era. Has many accolades, but yeah, I really like how he's in this year, finally in, not just as the DX group.
Right on. Then one other thing this is one of my pet peeves right now lately. I hate when people want to see one more match from Triple H. Like, yes, we'd all love to see it, but be real. The guy has a pacemaker. He literally cannot have another match. I mean,
his heart will explode. It's cool.
Right.
Well, that's why Mick Foley wanted to have his last match. It's like, dude, you don't have to fall on any more thumbtacks for me, okay? It's cool.
Exactly.
You've done it. It's fine. But I mean, wrestling fans are bloodthirsty, so
exactly, they are. They so are. Well, gentlemen, I think it's that time. We're gonna pay some bills here. Owen, I'm gonna let you go ahead and share where everyone can find you at on social media and talk about kind of what's going on Over the Top Talk?
Perfect. As of right now, I'm just gonna the two main places you can find this is Instagram and YouTube. Just type in Over the Top Talk. We will come right up. At the moment, I obviously do wrestling content. It's just been me for now. I've been able to get into contact with some UFC fighters, MMA fighters, so I have tons of interviews already up. As of projects right now, people, I don't have really anything to say. I want to shout out Connor Matthews, February 15th. He's fighting on the UFC Apex card. So that's February 15th. We're from Massachusetts. He's a Massachusetts native fighter, so just want to give him a shout out. And yeah, that's all I have.
Right on, right on. Well, I mean, Owen, I want to thank you for coming back on and joining us this week. You're welcome to come back anytime, brother. I mean, hey, we keep in touch. I mean, so it's been nice having you back on the podcast with us. Before we let you go, we're gonna plug some and pay some bills here, and we'll get out of here. So our first, let me cue up some music here right quick. Dun 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 dun. All right, here we go, and we'll go ahead and play this music, and I'll take this first one. All right, if you go to collarandelbowbrand.com and use our promo code FinalCountKY to save 10% at checkout. Again, collarandelbowbrand.com. Use our promo code FinalCountKY to save 10% at checkout. And while you're there, let Alex know that the Final Count sent you. And with more on Collar and Elbow, show it to none other than Mr. Al Snow. What does everybody want? Collar and Elbow.
Al Snow.
Wrestling. A love and a passion we all share. I've started a wrestling brand. The wrestling brand. A brand founded on the aspects of wrestling. Two entities working together to create a product that connect emotionally for people everywhere. Collar and Elbow is the brand. Passion and love for wrestling is the drive. I am Al Snow, and this is Collar and Elbow, the wrestling brand.
All right. And there we go. The next sponsor we want to thank, shop at WWEshop.com using our personal link in the description of the episode below. Again, shop at WWEshop.com. Use our personal link in the description of this episode. And Neil, I'm going to let you take this next one, brother.
Head over to jcountyapp.com now to get your official Final Count hoodie for $45 and t-shirt for only $25.
Yes. And don't forget to check out the audio version of the podcast. You can catch it on Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Google Podcast, Breaker, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, and on iTunes. And Neil, I'll let you finish up with this one.
Head over to w.gg and use promo code FinalCountKY to save 10% at checkout. It is your taste buds' favorite energy drink. They just don't know it yet.
There we go. You just don't know it yet. Well, guys, I'll tell you what, it's been another great episode. Again, Owen, it's been a delight to have you again on this episode of The Final Count and joining us again. And again, you're welcome to come back anytime. Don't be a stranger. But for right now, Neil, you got anything else to say?
Nope. I think we'll be at the Rumble tomorrow. We'll see what happens. And until then, it's in God's hands.
Happy Rumble, everyone. And as I say every week, we will see you down the road.